And blessed to be with you, Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio. Do want to remind you, we are shooting for free today at Independence Indoor Shooting. And if you stop by, you can say hello to Mike, to Russ, to Art, to Rome, to Bridger, to Jared, to Carl. I think he left with his family. Mike and Meridian and so many other folks want to continue to invite you to stop by and see our friends at Independence Indoor Shooting. And we did something a little different this morning, a couple issues, so we decided to come back here to the broadcast center. And remember, Independence Indoor Shooting is your home for the 2019 edition of Girls with Guns. And looking forward to hearing and seeing all the girls with the guns. And speaking of a girl with a gun, let's go to Liberty Linda with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberty Linda.
Good morning, Kevin. I waited 6 hours to hear what President Trump was going to say yesterday. I tuned in at 9, and he didn't report it until after 3. I couldn't believe it. But it was worth waiting for. All I can say, Kevin, is what a man. What a man he is.
Indeed, when you think of President Trump laying out his plan and saying, we're going to round him up, we're going to make the census matter, we're going to save America, and thank goodness that he's doing that. And, you know, Liberty Linda, it's funny, I was at Independence Indoor Shooting, and I've kind of lived both worlds today. I was there, and Ray Amaya made the decision. He said, Kevin, time to come back to the broadcast center.
Yeah, I heard that.
And so it took me literally 20 minutes, and I'm going down Eagle Road and through the traffic, and I couldn't do it, 20 more minutes from now. So I've lived in both worlds, being in the studio and, the traffic and such. And I thought it's important that we continue to support the Second Amendment, continue to support places like Independence Indoor Shooting, because if we don't, people are going to go, oh, well, those are just the gun people. Those are just those are extremists. No, we're not extremists. Citizenship should be on the census, and people should have a right to keep and bear arms.
I used to go to the meetings there, and they were the best people, I think, in this world. The kindest, sweetest. They carried guns for protection only, and they were families. Just wonderful meetings they had.
Sure.
And, you go there, and the people were just the greatest people on this earth. They wouldn't hurt a fly. They were so wonderful. They just love to have protection for themselves and their families.
Well, and we urge people to go down there and shoot for free today. And by the way, the folks in Star and Eagle, maybe you're listening on the KIDO Talk Radio app. Maybe you're listening to the old-fashioned way on a battery-powered radio. It shows you how fragile our infrastructure is, especially, it's funny because, you run the air a lot in the summer. I'm thinking to myself, boy, it's sure shaking a lot, or it's still flashing. That can't be a good sign. And then, boom, these folks are without power today.
Yeah, that's not good. One thing is, though, you're just having too much fun over there at Independence Shooting. That was it. We had to get you back to the studio, I guess.
Well, I do like it there. I love the sound of gunfire in the morning.
Yeah, right. Good thing to have for breakfast.
I would agree.
Tell your mom and dad I said hi. And, Biden, calls our president corrupt. Can you believe that?
Well, that's all Joe really has,
I still think he's going to be the one to win on that side. But doesn't mean that I believe in him. But I think for the Democrats, he probably, all of them are so left. They're falling off the left chart over there.
Well, I think he's the most dangerous liberal. I agree with you.
Yeah. Well, because, I believe they will vote for him. More Dems will vote for him. And that doesn't mean that's a good thing, but it seems like, to me, that's what's going to happen. So we're here just waiting patiently to see what's going on in our nation. I hope the next thing that our president does is close the borders, period.
Fair enough. Liberty Linda, anything else?
No, just to keep up the good work, Kevin. We love you.
We love you, Liberty Linda. Take care now.
You as well. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Liberal Steve joins us now, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Liberal Steve.
Miller, and what is Congress thinking? They're going to lighten up the laws on marijuana. Now, Idaho better jump on board. They're arresting people for hemp. Saying now they're going to lighten it up for marijuana. So what are they thinking, these people? The world's going to hell in a handbasket.
Well, why don't you explain this? Because you're a little too excited here this morning.
Well, they're voting, to take it out of whatever class of drug that cannabis is in.
That would be the House.
Yes.
Right. Well, that's very exciting.
That's
going to go nowhere. It's going to go nowhere in the Senate.
Oh, yeah, you've really listened to the Senate. The Senate's on board with it. The Congress is on board with it. Everybody, and the President's on board with it.
Well, I don't believe you know what you're talking about.
You've said that many times. And the President, come on, Linda, he was going to drain the swamp. He is the swamp. Billionaires and bankers, come on, Linda, and Epstein and his buddies. Oh, good Lord. And they've been hollering at people about driver's license for 20 years now. That's all going to be taken care of with the new identities and all that. You see, the thing is, you people are all still old hat. Everybody's old hat, old hat, old hat. And it's the same with weapons.
If we're old hat, what does that make you?
Well, I know I am, but what are you?
Well, I said that first.
Where's the future? The weapons are going to change. I mean, you can do 3D printing, print out a gun. Everything's going to change. There will be all different kinds of radar and microwave shooting and all that. The little lead flying down the road, that'll be obsolete.
Kind of sounds like this. Kind of sounds like this phone call.
We have to
little
think
lead
of the
flying
future.
down the road.
We have to think of the future, and no one's thinking of the future. You keep saying the same thing over and over on these talk shows for 20 years.
What?
And nothing changes. You're like politicians.
Again, I'm still trying to figure out what you're talking about. You've been on the air for 2.5 minutes, and I don't believe you made a lick of sense except to insult me.
You've been on the air all morning, and all I've heard is pop, 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 pop. And Rust is here, and some Marine guy is there.
There's a Marine guy there that came in, fired off the full auto. We didn't have the wireless set up, but I would have loved to have heard that in the morning. You were going to be there, but you're afraid.
I am. I'm scared. I'm just shivering in me boots. I wouldn't show up with all them right-wing nuts down there with guns in their hands. You think I'm crazy?
Well, we could take a lot of phone calls all morning long on that, whether or not you're crazy.
Don't treat me like I'm stupid now.
I didn't say that I would never insult you saying you were crazy. I would never call you crazy, but I'm sure if we did a survey, survey radio, if you will, and said, hey, is liberal Steve crazy? We would probably get phone calls till Sean Hannity.
I happen to know that there's several people, more than several people, standing around you right now nodding their heads that he's crazy. And I would like it if they would stop.
Well, you should be there and do it to tell them to their faces.
And do me a favor, keep that, I'm not prejudiced or anything, but Lars Larson, send him back to Norway, okay? He don't belong in America. He's not an American.
You're saying Lars Larson is not an American?
He's not an American. He's a hateful European.
What would you be?
I'm a true American. I've been packing since I was 4 years old, born in the Badlands of North Dakota. A man without a weapon ain't a man. How are you going to protect your kinfolk and your children and the wife?
Man, I hope people find this entertaining. If not, this is massive tune-out.
I'm telling you what, there's people going down the road right now knocking on their windows at 75 miles an hour saying, turn it to 580. Liberal Steve's on. Turn it. They're putting little notes up on the window.
As they're going 75 down the connector, yeah.
With that, that's slow on the connector, even though it's 60. And what's with these truckers we keep letting go through town? Idaho State Patrol. If it's 65, they're supposed to be doing 55. I see these FedEx, UPS, and these farm grain trucks pulling 3 pony packs with them, doing 85 miles an hour down the freeway.
Right.
And when it comes to, say, stay in your lane, how are you going to keep 3 things wagging their tail behind you in their lane? You know, Idaho Patrol, get on it. Quit sloughing. Get out of the donut shop.
Boy, you're just
That's
full
all
of
I
it
got
today.
to say, Miller.
Thank you.
That's all I got to say. I'm just saying. Oh no! How come no one's reported on the earthquake at 3:00 this morning? I was up and taking care of something the coyotes did that was bad, and I heard this 4.5 over in Seattle area.
Well, which is more relevant, an earthquake in Seattle or 15,000 people in the Treasure Valley without power?
And you keep talking AM radio.
Getting back to it. We don't service Seattle. They have some very good talk stations over there. They'll tell you how good they are. Our mission is Ada and Canyon County, the Treasure Valley.
You keep talking about radios with batteries in them. Kevin, we have cell phones. We have advanced.
Well, you have the KIDO Talk Radio app. How about that?
Well, you don't even need that app. You can just Google KIDO Listen Live.
We're going to Google
580 Boise, and it'll bring it up without the app. That's why I'm saying, why do you need an AM radio with batteries in it?
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
Have a
Now
great
get
weekend.
on with your show. I'm going to hang up because I'm tired of listening to you.
Well, you're tired
you got
of.
nothing to say.
Actually, you're
Get
tired of.
somebody on.
Yes, you're carrying the show. Thank you, sir.
They fired up.
Yes. God bless. All right. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. How many of you, well, first of all, if you have any comments about the power being out in Star and Eagle, we'd love to hear from you. Hopefully, Idaho Power will get it back on. And, we are, I can't say enough how blessed we are in Idaho, in America. There was a big trade in the NBA, okay? There was this guy making $40 million a year to wear baggy shorts and put a ball in a hoop. Chris Paul is his name. Chris Paul's had some issues. And how many of us, at work, at home, wherever, have personality conflicts? I just heard a friend of mine left a wonderful nonprofit group. Don't know what happened, but sometimes politics gets in the way of doing good things, right? So here you have people making, this guy, Chris Paul, making $40 million a year, was so mad that he demanded to be traded. Now he's going to go to some team that doesn't win a lot, right? Oklahoma City. I mean, if you're making $40 million a year, you should be grateful for that. And sometimes I catch myself, and much to Mrs. Miller's chagrin, I'll go, well, I was this close to being in the big show. She says, well, you get to do what you love for a living. And I go, yeah, you're right. And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful every day I get a chance to be with you. I never take that for granted. Well, and my wife as well. However, at 580-5436, 580-KIDO, we've got this massive power outage. And it shows you perhaps just how vulnerable our grid really is. And we have these large, magnificent structures, 75, 65, 55, 85-inch televisions. And then it's all taken away at the drop of a hat. It's a pain in the butt to be in traffic, but you want to make it even more difficult? The people on 44 right now that are trying to figure out how in the world they're going to get to work on Old State Street. And hopefully, I'm sure Ada County sheriffs are out there to direct traffic, but this is how dependent we are on technology, how dependent we are on electricity. 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Max in Garden City, you're next. First, you're listening to Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. And to those folks without power, we hear you. So sorry that that's going on. Shows you just how, unfortunately, vulnerable we are to the whims of the grid. And wouldn't that be great if the Republicans, the Democrats, got together? Maybe this is why we need solar power, right? 580-5436, 580-KIDO. Kevin Miller in the morning. By the way, we are at Independence Indoor Shooting. I am back at the Broadcast Center, but that doesn't mean that you can't shoot for free there. And by the way, our great friend Rome is there. I want to thank Jay, our FedEx guy, who brought me tacos. Thank you, Jay. Appreciate you and everybody making their way this morning on the right side. To Max in Garden City with Kevin Miller on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Max.
Good morning. Do you remember the Johnny Carson show where Johnny Carson played the character Karnak the Great?
Yeah. Okay,
well, let's play Karnak the Great here. I'll give you the answer, then I'll give you the question. The answer, 2 hours, 25 minutes, and 9 seconds. The question, how long does it take Liberal Steve to start to get to the point?
Good point.
Other than that, I guess I'm still griping about how when you renew your vehicle's tags, they punish you if you buy electric or hybrid.
Right.
The state is actually, they're reaching out and saying, essentially, we don't want you to drive a hybrid or electric. We want you to drive a big pickup truck. We want you to be like Butch Otter or any of these other slimy rich politicians. We don't want you to help us out that way. What valid excuse could they possibly present for waging, sending the fee for my car is equal to the hybrid vehicle fee? Right. They literally double registration cost if you buy a hybrid or electric.
Right.
How do they justify it? Do you have any idea?
Well, that's a good question. Why don't we throw that to the audience?
Why don't we do that? And listen, before they come up with this lame argument, well, you're not going to spend as much money on gas taxes, and we have to keep the roads together. That doesn't work.
Well, the roads aren't together, Max. Thank you for the call.
Exactly. Thank you, buddy.
Traffic and weather together, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Dave. And let's go to Pete in Mountain Home on KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Pete.
Good morning, Kevin. Several things. I want to point out something the power shortage or power outage brings out. You want to talk about essential personnel. It's the folks that keep that stuff up. They're out there in all weathers, climbing those towers, fixing stuff. I just want to give them a shout out. The Idaho Power, any people working the grid, we need them.
Well, now more than ever, it just shows you how
the immigration raids that have the left screaming.
Hey, Pete.
Yes.
I was going to add some comments to that, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Yeah, and now more than ever, it just shows you how vulnerable we are. Whether it's here on KIDO Talk Radio or in Star, Eagle, or Mountain Home, to the whims of the grid.
Oh, I'll tell you what, the power grid in this country was built for the load of 30 years ago. And keeping that sucker up, and every time that the power industry tries to build a major transmission line to increase reliability, the environmentalist wackos start screaming. And we've seen that here in Idaho, the one that's eventually going to go through from the Wyoming to up into Oregon. Anyway, don't get me going on that. I can get really upset. The immigration raids. All of the people that they're going after are people that have had court hearings and been ordered deported by a judge and have ignored those deportation orders. They are doubly criminals. And to say, oh, they haven't had a fair trial, they've been through the judicial process and they've ignored it. And those are the folks that Trump is rounding up. And to have the ACLU and those other groups start whining about it just really, really annoys me. And to put things on a much happier note, a range report, if you're at Independence Indoor Range, try out one of their SIG P365 9mm handguns. They're lightweight, they're compact, they have a 12-round plus one capacity. They're a really, really excellent little carry gun, and they're very comfortable to shoot, and they're accurate, and I cannot recommend them enough. Try a SIG P365.
Well,
except for Liberal Steve. I don't trust him with a gun.
Well,
just thought I'd throw that in.
You know, Pete, thank you for the gun recommendation, and we always appreciate you listening to KIDO Talk Radio in the morning, brother.
Well, Kevin, I really, you start the day right for a large segment of the Gem State, so thank you.
All right. Keep your powder dry.
I will do that.
Thank you. Okay. Bye, Pete.
Bye.
Coming up next, more of your phone calls. The deportations are supposed to start. The census will ask people if you're a citizen, which is a good thing. And, of course, stop by Shoot for Free right now. Independence Indoor Shooting, Meridian, Idaho. Support the girls with the guns. And, obviously, we want to support Independence Indoor Shooting. It's a fun time. We hope to see you there. Kevin Miller, KIDO Talk Radio. Good morning, Maggie. And I want to thank Ted for calling in with a traffic report. Just went through Star. Headed to Eagle, it's backed up from State to Linder Road. We need some police directing traffic. State Street now backed up from Eagle Road all the way to Middleton. When you buy electric vehicles, you're not powered by gas taxes, road taxes. So I assumed that the sheriffs and the police would be out. I hope that they are to get people to work. Dave Burnett saying that the power is being restored in Eagle, but just because the power is restored doesn't mean that the roads and the stoplights are good to go. So please be very careful this morning. KIDO Talk Radio, your home for Fox News Radio. Joining us now, Fox News Radio, Simon Owen. Good morning.
Morning, Kevin.
So here we are. What will Amazon's Alexa do next?
Well, the answer to that question here in England is it's going to give you medical advice, if that's what you are looking for. It's a prescription of easy access health info with the side effects of possibly including privacy concerns. If you are in England and you have one of these Amazon devices that has the Alexa voice assistant, this thing that you can ask the time or get it to turn your lights on or play the radio, you can also now ask it for medical advice. And this is a partnership between Amazon and Britain's state-run National Health Service. And the government here is saying that this technology, quote, has the potential to reduce the pressure on the NHS and doctors by providing information for common illnesses. So they're aiming to help more patients at home and cut down on unnecessary visits to primary doctors and therefore save some money as well. They also say these devices are particularly useful for older people or blind people and people who don't have a computer or another online device. There is some pushback, as there normally is when you talk about anything to do with Alexa. And there's one civil liberty group here called Big Brother Watch. It says this is a data protection disaster waiting to happen.
Indeed. There are a lot of people that have privacy concerns about Alexa as well, and Amazon. Are people concerned that Amazon is too big over there as it is here, sir?
Well, I mean, it's something that European governments are braced for another clash with the Trump administration about this, actually, because just this week, France put in place a new law under which it will tax large technology companies, and the main ones we're talking about are Amazon, Facebook, and Google, and they're all going to face an extra tax in France, 3% of their revenues that are generated in France. And the way these companies normally run their overseas operations is they pick countries like Ireland in Europe where there are low taxes, and they funnel their profits through those countries, and therefore they don't pay a great deal of tax in other countries. Well, what these European countries are saying now is they're increasingly starting to look at these taxes. The French are pioneering this with the one that they agreed yesterday. We think the Brits are looking at a 2% levy that they're going to try and push through in the next few months. And so that is something that has got the US quite unhappy. So yes, there are governments here who are concerned that these companies are not just necessarily that they're too big or monopolizing anything, but they're making money off from European citizens, but not paying a great deal of tax in those European citizens' home countries. The Trump administration doesn't like that. It believes this is unfairly targeting American firms. So yes, there are debates and discussions and, in some cases, actions going on here about the size of these very successful American tech companies.
Simon, you just wonder what the future of tech is. It's everywhere. You have people here looking at possibly some antitrust litigation, possibly taking these folks down. Could you see that happening worldwide?
Well, I mean, that's going to depend where they're based, I suppose. And these companies are all, in the ones that we're talking about, these big ones are Americans. But over here, there are some fairly aggressive laws that the European Union has on competition, and we've seen them go after Google repeatedly. Google's shopping services has been targeted. I think the Google search service has been gone after before as well, and I think they've had a fight with Microsoft before. And actually, the European penalties, even though these are American firms, they all have European headquarters, so they're very much within the reach of EU authorities. They have some teeth, these penalties. They can be really significant financially, even for these multi-billion-dollar companies, and they can also require them to change the way they behave. So I think there's probably less of a concern in terms of antitrust and so on over here, because actually the European bodies already have some fairly wide-reaching powers to clamp down on what, if any, if they believe there are abuses going on. And we are often seeing these big American companies falling foul of the perhaps stricter EU legislation.
Simon Owen, to be continued. Anything else going on over there? It's triple digits over here. What's your temperature over there, brother?
Oh, not like that, and no hurricanes, but we're in the thick of the British summer, which I think you'd probably find is not unpleasant. We rarely top, 90 degrees, maybe a bit below that. So Britain is sweltering and is largely on vacation, I think, almost.
Well, we appreciate you. You have a great day.
Thanks, Kevin. You too.
Thank you. Our great friend Simon Owen, triple digits here. Phone number is 580-5436, 580-KIDO. I do want to thank our friend Ted for giving us a traffic report. As you heard Dave Burnett so accurately describe, power is being restored in the Eagle area, not so much in Star. If you would like to call in and give us a report, we will take those calls. As Ted said, look, it's backed up from Eagle Road at the time of the report, which was a couple minutes ago, to Middleton. I don't know if that's still the case, but I'd love to get some firsthand accounts. This is what makes this program local, is your ability to communicate, hey, and let the opinion makers and lawmakers know that they need to get the folks, nobody's going to be speeding on Old State Street today. But I'm sure we're going to get law enforcement out there. Got to be very difficult. Trying to herd traffic this morning. It shows you just how dependent we are when it comes to the idea of power. And maybe it's time that we all I don't know if it's solar or not. I don't know if solar power is the answer. A few other things going on. The president making an emotional speech. Before we get to that, George Norrie has been covering this story for quite a bit. And if you're a fan of Netflix, they've got this guy on who apparently wants people to storm Area 51. If you haven't heard about it, here it is now, our own Gary Baumgarten on KIDO Talk Radio. Gary?
On Facebook to storm the famous Area 51 in Nevada. They say they will gather at 3 a.m. and then run with their hands stretched behind them, like the Japanese anime character Naruto Uzumaki, who apparently can move faster than bullets. It's long been rumored that the Air Force has captured aliens in Area 51. The motto of the event, which is organized with tongue firmly in cheek, is, "Let's see them aliens." Gary Baumgarten, Fox News.
So tongue firmly in cheek, they're talking about storming Area 51. Now, here you have this, you've heard that old adage, strength in numbers. So what does he say? 300,000 believers have signed up for this event. Storm Area 51, quote, "They can't stop all of us." How many of you remember as a kid, Escape to Witch Mountain, Escape from Witch Mountain, or The Search for Bigfoot? I know we have a professor who thinks that Bigfoot exists, but as a little kid and as a parent or whatever, you always wondered if Bigfoot was coming through the bathroom door, right? Even if you lived in, really wasn't a lot of downtown back in the day, but, here you have this Area 51, and, it's funny, how many of us have gone to Area 51, have driven up to the gate, and then you have people saying, look, there's the Air Force people there, there's the guys with guns, there's everything else, right? Crazy. So you think about this, there's got to be something there at Area 51, and I love this. Do you think there's anything in Area 51 besides secret military stuff? I believe that eventually we're going to find out about the UFOs. whether it's at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio, which people don't talk about, or it's at Area 51 or some other undisclosed area. I mean, where did we get the idea for Skunk Works? That's one issue. Another, I want to thank the staff and management at Independence Indoor Shooting for hosting us there today. Now, if you're like a lot of folks and you've stopped by and say, where's Kevin Miller? You see the big display. Maybe you want to win tickets to see Garth Brooks. Or maybe you just go, man, I just want to fire for free. I just want to shoot a weapon for free. Or you're like our friend Jay, the FedEx guy, who brought us some tacos. We were there. We're back here at the Broadcast Center, but you can still shoot for free and still support America and check out the wonderful ideas and things like our friend Russ, who stopped by. He wanted to learn how to fire a weapon. Dave Petzo, hopefully, I believe he's stopping by, and maybe we can con him into calling if he's listening right now. He wants to learn. And he said, Kevin, I want to go to Independence next time you're there. And he's been waiting like 6 months to do this. So seriously, I want to thank Independence Indoor Shooting. If you get a chance, please go visit them. The temperatures are crazy now. We've had a great summer for Idaho. No triple digits, no sweltering heat, no this, that, and the other. But now all of a sudden, boom, as Larry said, it's hitting. And if you want to go fire a weapon, maybe like Pete described earlier, that you've heard about, maybe you want to, check out what it's like to fire a fully automatic machine gun, or you want some training, Independence Indoor Shooting, iishooting.com. They are the right choice. Coming up next, though, I would like to get your thoughts on the grid. And if not, you'll have me talking about my conspiracy theories and more on President Trump. Kevin Miller, we're just rolling on the right side, KIDO Talk Radio. More of your phone calls in a minute, but we don't have to worry about this guy running out of power. Dave Petzo, Petzo Center, Petzo Financial joins us now. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Kevin.
We were going to have a good time shooting. I don't know if you're at Independence, but I thought of you. I wanted to make sure that you knew we were there, and you can still shoot for free, and we've got a big staff there waiting for you if you're on your way before you head out, or maybe you haven't left yet.
No, we're just trying to find the place. I took the wrong turn, and so we're almost there. We're absolutely going to go out here and shoot.
So it's at Overland. Look for Gem Prep, Mountain View High School, or ICCU, and you go in and look for the big flagpole.
I like it. I think we saw it. We're gonna find that, but we're looking forward to it, Kevin. I'm just sorry you're not going to be out here.
Well, these things happen, but you'll see our great friend Rome and some of the other young little aspiring Jedis, and I believe they'll take care of you. Ryan will be there. He's the manager, was there at 5 this morning, and you'll have to give us a report if you can before the end of the show to let us know what you fired.
I will do it. I will call you back. I'll jump right on it. We're pulling in now.
Dave Petzo, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks for the setup out here. I'm sorry the equipment didn't work.
Well,
that's live radio, buddy.
Maybe it was me. Operator error. Probably I pushed the wrong button. Don't tell anybody.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Well, as you know, I've seen that studio for the last 35 years, so I'm not going to blame you at all.
Thank you, Dave. Take care.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. And, again, these things happen. Our great promotions team, Jared, Rome, Bridger, they're doing a great job. Stop by and see them. Say hello to Independence, and let them know you listen to KIDO Talk Radio. You know, Andy, I was going to go to you in a second, and, boy, it must have been the power again. Traffic jams all over the place. Let's find out the latest due to these power outages in West Ada County. KIDO Talk Radio, Kevin Miller in the morning, traffic and weather together. Good morning, Dave. And I'm Kevin Miller in the morning here. And let me just say this, because to me, there is nothing more frustrating than being stuck in traffic. Oh, I'm sure a colonoscopy, which my friend Jeremy knows I'm overdue for, and maybe you're overdue for a colonoscopy. I hear they're not pleasant experiences. And maybe we should do something, some type of awareness on that, right? Being stuck in traffic's like getting a colonoscopy, I suppose. There's nothing you can do about it. You just sit back and maybe I get this from my mom, but you just start getting yourself fired up and you get so, there's really nothing you can do. And that's our challenge, right? This is the magic of radio. The magic of communication. Are we promoting ourselves? No, not really. Television, you have to be watching something. You can't clean your house. You can't clean your car by watching television. You can't watch television or your tablet while you're driving, right? But the magic of talk from the beginning, the humble beginnings at Boise High School of this very radio station, Idaho's first, KIDO Talk Radio, that people have been listening to radio for years. So if you're stuck in traffic and you're tired of the bip, bop, bibbity, bibbity, bop, our job is to keep you engaged. Now, whether you were like me and you have parents coming into town and all of a sudden it's time to clean the areas of your home that you're responsible for, thank goodness you have a good radio station to listen to. And by the way, now, I'm just going to say this in jest, but of course they fixed Eagle First. Of course they fixed Eagle First, right? Star can wait. Art in Eagle, good morning. You're on KIDO Talk Radio with Kevin Miller. Hello, Art.
Hey, Kevin. How are you? Good talking to you. Thank goodness that the power is back on. I just want to tell you, I come from that other state, and I'm glad I got the heck out of there. But traffic here, when you guys say it's bad, it's really nice. It's not that bad at all. And I'll tell you one thing that makes a huge difference, and that's you. You talk about stuff that distracts you from the intensity of the bumper to bumper, thinking about every bad thing that you know of. And so my hat goes off to you guys by keeping everybody on the right track and keeping us smiling and sometimes laughing and sometimes not. But it's thank goodness for shows like yours. Art,
God bless you. Now, how bad was the traffic in those other states or that other state compared? Again, this is nothing compared to what you've been through, but 2-3 hours to get someplace? That's what we hear.
Yeah. I used to go 20 miles, and it would take me almost 2 hours. And people would literally just get out of their cars because you couldn't move. And, God forbid if there was an accident or something like that or some kind of a vehicle hazard, it was just horrible. And people would just rent hotel rooms and it's, here 20 miles is, about 18 minutes. It's nothing. But it's just, that's why, like I said, everybody's bailing out of there like their rear ends were on fire.
Well, it does show you how dependent we are on the power.
Yeah, absolutely. But God bless you, and thank goodness for everything you do.
Thank you, Art. God bless. Take care.
Take care.
What a nice young man, Art in Eagle. Like I said, though, and again, tongue firmly in cheek with a tad bit of truth to it. Of course they got Eagle rolling, right? Star, well, see if we can get Michael Keys on that. Kevin Miller in the morning, KIDO Talk Radio, is your home for Fox News on the radio. And by the way, you can go see Dave Petzo and Rania and Rome, and Bridger, and Jared. Who are they? And Ryan. They're all at Independence Indoor Shooting. Another hour where you can shoot for free. Right in Meridian, Idaho. Lock and load. Good morning.